Hi there, it's Laurence Bradford from Learn to Code with Me, and this is going to be my fifth video for the HTML and CSS introduction, but we're still just talking about HTML right now. Okay, last time we left off, remember this is the folder we were in. Let's open this in the browser. Okay, that's in the browser. Open. Now let's open with Sublime Text 2. Okay, so last time we talked about the head and the body tags and the doc type. So now we're going to talk about nesting. And basically all the elements in an HTML file nest within one another. So the best way you can really see this is with this example. So you can see how the body tag, there's the opening, and then inside the body is the paragraph, which is the opening and closing tag wrapping around the text, and then a closing body tag. Okay, so that's kind of how you style an HTML sheet, and it really, like, the more content, the longer it gets, it does get a little bit confusing. And what you'll do is you'll write a comment to yourself to remind you what goes where. We'll definitely get to comments in the future. Okay, so a word about whitespace. In an HTML file, whitespace doesn't really matter. It won't affect anything. So this, the paragraphs, right in a row versus this would still produce the same thing in the browser. However, as I mentioned here, there is kind of like a style to follow that most people typically do, like an indentation. So you can kind of see it here, how every like layer you go in, you indent another space or whatever you want to call it, another tab. So let's wrap this around. Oop, that's an opening, closing. Trying to think. You know what? Once we get, hold on, we'll do an example. Okay, so the paragraphs, back to paragraph tags, they allow you to format your content, obviously, into paragraph tags or into paragraph blocks. So we're going to go to this website. Let me just copy that. baconipsum.com. Let's see, 3 paragraphs. Basically, this website just gives you random text, and a lot of times people will use these lorem ipsum generators just to kind of put in like dummy content. Okay, so you can see here. Let's go back to our code file. Let's put 1 paragraph there. The next paragraph is here. Now see, now that doesn't look good. Typically what I would do is something like this, actually. Again, whitespace doesn't matter, and it's kind of up to personal preference, but I just think this looks a bit cleaner, especially with such a big block of text. Okay. Okay, so let's save this and reopen it in the browser. Okay, so I took out this is the body text, and now you can see these 3 paragraphs, right? And they're each, separated with the space between them. Okay, pretty obvious. So another HTML element that you use a lot are called headings. And headings go from a heading 1 to a heading 6. So as you can see here, those are indicated by H1, H2, H3, and so forth. This is actually a little snapshot of what it looks like in the browser. And you can see that the heading 1 is bigger in font size, but in actuality, what the H tags are telling the browser and kind of more importantly the search engines like Google what is the most important thing on that page. So pretty much like a rule of thumb is that every page on a website will only have one H1 because that's kind of like getting into SEO. But if you have a bunch of H1s, it's sort of telling the like the search engine that there's all this important stuff on the page, and it kind of confuses it, I guess you could say. So then the H2 to H3, H4, H5, H6, those are all kind of like subheadings. I honestly only ever use H1, H2, H3, sometimes maybe H4 for some reason, but I really never use H5 or H6 headings. Okay, so there's some ways you can format your text with HTML, but typically you just want to do the formatting with CSS. And the only real reason why you would use any of these formatting options is to kind of like tell your computer or browser that this text is important or to have an emphasis. So you can see these tags, the EM tag and the strong tag. The EM tag kind of makes the text appear italicized, whereas the strong tags make it look bold. So let's go back to the code here. Okay, so the EM tag, EM for emphasis. I want to emphasize these three words. Okay, now down here, let's make this sentence, why not, strong. Okay, let's go back to the browser. Refresh. All right, so you can see here that kind of gave it the italicized look, and this gave it the bold look. But again, you're really not supposed to use these for styling. You're supposed to do that all in the CSS. Yeah, that's basically kind of what I'm saying here. You're just supposed to use the EM and the strong for the, just to communicate meaning. Okay, so I want to add a few things here. So back in our code, you can see that we're kind of getting, something coming along. So how about if we add, so we have, okay, so remember the title, which kind of seems like it would show up right on the page, is actually showing up right here. This is the title, okay? So let's do H1 tab. Hi, I am Laurence Bradford. Save. Let's refresh. Look, hi, I am Laurence Bradford. Okay, now let's do an H2. Here is a little bit about me. Okay, so you can see the H2 is smaller in size. And you may be wondering why the text looks like this, why the font has been chosen, maybe, there's space between here, how is that working? And basically, I mentioned this in another video, but a lot of these browsers have built-in settings or predefined settings, I guess you could say, with the way something would be styled. So actually, let's do an experiment. And I have not looked at this, so this should be, okay, you know what? I'm going to pause this for a second. Hold on. Okay, unpaused. What I was trying to do was see if the file looked different in different browsers, which I don't think there's enough done to it right now. Oops, this is in what? Mozilla, or yeah, Firefox. You can see this looks very similar to Chrome. And then I also opened it in Safari, which again, there's really, they all kind of look the same. I thought maybe things would be a little different, like the spacing or something in the font, but it's not. Anyhow, as we continue to add and before we really get to the CSS, there could be some minor differences. Okay, anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. So thank you for tuning in. And I'm sorry that this was a little bit awkward. I'm kind of distracted right now, I'm not going to lie, but I told myself I was going to do another video and, you know, kind of just look at this material again because, yeah, so I was about to take a shower and then I was like, oh, wait, I have to do this before it gets too late and then I get too tired. All right, anyhow, have a good one. Bye-bye.